So welcome back to Simply Race for the Simply Race British Championships. We've got 3 touring car races coming up this afternoon from the Donington Park National Circuit. Alongside me is Anthony Jordan.
Hello.
The drivers have just gone into their qualifying session. So we've got an interesting battle developing in the championship. I think we've got Lewis Manley at the moment leading the championship standings, so he'll be looking to defend that position.
Yeah, plenty of other stuff. Yeah, Manley leading 47 points in total after one round. Obviously, he's got the maximum weight ballast at the moment, 75 kg that he's got on the car. So, and I feel like he's struggling with that at the moment. He's only 4th fastest in practice.
Yeah, he's looking a little bit off the pace in practice, but I'm sure going into his qualifying session he'll be right up there as usual. We've got some really fast times from Matt Richards and Daniel Handover in practice. So we're going to go and join the. I think we're going to go and join the qualifying session now and see if we can see what sort of time's being set.
Yeah.
Right, so here we are watching Handover. No, sorry, that looks like the Pink Panther racing car of Curry, just coming up to McLean's corner. So they've just started the qualifying session. No times on the board yet, but they'll just be starting their flying lap shortly.
Well, I think we've already got someone crossing the line there. Hyde, he's done a 1:10.154, obviously first lap of the session, so I'm not expecting anything great at the moment. But that in terms of practice, the 1:10, yeah, that puts him roughly around the 13th, 14th place marker at the moment. But of course, yeah, first lap out there, Hyde was 11th in practice at the moment. As John Curry there taking quite a bit of curb there. Yeah,
taking all curb and a bit more. Coming down the start-finish straight, that I think actually is Harold we're looking at. So same livery as John Curry. Both those Astras. So he's just setting onto a flying lap, taking a lot of curb at Redgate there. In the background you can see Lewis Manley about to set a time. So here we go, down the Craner curves. So at the first round we saw incredibly close times throughout the field. Here is Winter in the Subaru, the rear-wheel drive Subaru. A lot of smoke being left by, I think that's Handover in front of him.
Yeah, the only rear-wheel drive car actually on the field for this race. So, yeah, the only thing that comes with rear-wheel drive, but the risk is, one, just losing the back end. Of course, these guys are not running any traction stability control settings. They're not allowed it. Has been disabled. So, of course, he's got to be so gentle with how he applies the power. You can see there the back just stepping out slightly. So he is pushing it on this first lap.
Yeah, sliding his way through Coppice onto the back straight. Heading now down towards the chicane.
So, again, yeah, Hyde still with the fastest time at the moment.
Oh, somebody's rolled it.
Oh, had they? I missed that. I wasn't looking at the screen. I was looking at the timing screen.
I think someone hit the sausage curb.
See, he's completely cleared the barrier.
He hit that sausage curb, and in these touring cars, if you hit that big curb at speed, at the right angle, you're going to go flying. And I think it's exactly what happened there.
So Manley on provisional pole at the moment, 109.135 compared to his practice time. That's about similar. Here's a replay of what happened there. And
it's Handover.
Here's Handover, and he's gone well over the barrier. He has. Oh, that looks familiar.
I seem to remember somebody did exactly the same thing as that a couple of seasons ago.
But it was forced upon me. It wasn't by choice.
Taking out a lot of the crowd there.
Yeah,
it's going to be
nicely done.
It's going to be some serious lawsuits going on here.
Nicely done indeed.
So here's Matt Richards. A very fast driver. He had some really good results in the first round of the championship. He's already set a lap time of 1:08.832, so he's currently on pole. He's got a 3/10 gap to Manley in second, with Willis third at the moment.
Yeah, so there you go. Richards already smashing it out. His 1:08.832. That compares to his 1:08.4 that he did in practice. So there is still 4/10 in him that you can find. So don't expect this to be the fastest times that you've seen so far. Of course, we have just begun the session. These guys probably riding not a lot of fuel, fresh tyres every couple of laps to try and get as much out of the car as they can.
Yeah, just trying to hook up that perfect lap. 1:08.8 is a pretty competitive time, but yeah, like you say, there's probably a bit more time to be found. I reckon Pole will be a bit quicker than that, perhaps. Richards there pits for new tyres. So drivers can run soft tyres in this qualifying session. So you'll see a lot of drivers diving into the pits after probably a couple of flying laps to take on new tyres. On the tower on the top left there, you can see how many pit stops they've made during the session.
Some of these drivers already doing 2 pit stops, and we're only a couple laps in, so they're doing 1 lap. Yeah, tyres done, get a new set, and of course, compared to a proper race weekend, championships only allow you to have like 8 sets of tyres max for a race weekend. These guys are pushing the limits, as you've just seen there.
Mangera there, big lockup going into the old hairpin, straight off the track. But yeah, a lot of drivers will be using these tyres purely as qualifying tyres, so one flying lap, back in, change. Yeah. Just looking for that ultimate pace.
No, of course, and if anyone has just started joining us, this is qualifying. We aren't into the racing yet, so that's why there's big gaps, and we're not that excited at the moment, because when it comes to the end of qualifying, that's when we might start to pick up the excitement. At the beginning, of course, we're just trying to see, gauging what drivers can do, and as you can see, most of them are in the pit lane at the moment, swapping those tyres and going for a fresh set of soft compound tyres to put on the car. But all in all, at the moment, times are roughly about what they were doing in practice.
Yeah, so lots of drivers coming out here. Just got to be careful of drivers coming past on flying laps. That's Sean King in the Cam Sport Ice car. Currently 10th fastest, 109.8. So Sean, one of the drivers who did the Clios this morning, doing both championships. So he's already had some good track time around this circuit, but in a completely different car. But he should be up to speed pretty quick, and he's following Handover, and they're both just behind Manley at the moment. Yeah,
it should be good. These guys, though, they're not really doing themselves a lot of favours. They're all bunched up in a train of cars. They need to open these gaps up a bit. Remember, they're not racing at this point. They're trying to get a clean lap in for qualifying, and there's Handover there dropping back. And that's probably the most cleverest thing I've seen these drivers do at the moment, and that's...
Handover was on an outlap, yeah, so he was just getting out of King's way there. But yeah, you're right, they are a bit too close together. It's part of the art of qualifying is timing, finding your space.
Of course, and trying to get a key exit out of this corner is crucial to get the best start for your lap, and of course if you mess that corner up, yeah, you're instantly going to be off the pace, and it's not ideal really, is it? Purple sector's coming in everywhere though. Richards is on a stonker of a lap on this one. He's set purple best sector 1, purple best sector 2, and he's on his final sector now. His best lap before, 1:08.832. Now we've seen him do a 1:08.4 in practice. Let's see what he can do this time around. He's crossed the line, 1:08.5. So Richards still a bit of time to gain.
Superb lap time there. He's got a good cushion at the moment, half a second quicker than Lewis Manley, who we know is probably the benchmark in this championship, last year's champion. And here we are looking at Manley now in the red and white MG.
Well, you've got to remember that, Lewis Manley has got 75 kilos of lead on the car. And I mean, not saying that Richards doesn't have weight. He's got 66 kilos on his car, yet he's still managing to pull a gap.
Yeah, what we've seen generally is that the fastest drivers seem to be able to cope with the weight. Even though they've got a lot of weight on, they are still the front runners.
Yeah, and of course, some people say, yeah, it is a penalty. Well, it is a penalty in some aspects, but in some ways it can, I don't know if it can help in some ways, but having a bit more weight, it can help with some of the corners. But again, it's not going to help with your tyre tread, is it? That's going to kill your tyres with more weight on it.
Definitely not. And I think one of the things to watch out for at the start of the race is particularly the guys with a lot of weight on, is at the start of the race when they have very cold rear tyres, it can change the balance of the car quite a bit. And you'll find for the first few corners, maybe in the first lap or so, it's quite difficult to handle the car sometimes with that weight on.
Yeah, of course. And like I say, most of the field is front-wheel drive. And there's a new fastest time for Handover as well. He just goes 8,000 slower than Richards. So Handover up into second position, demoting Manley to third.
Cracking lap, and he was very quick in practice as well. So it seems that Handover has got the measure of this Donington Park National Circuit. It seems to suit him, and yeah, he's been flying ever since he started here.
Let's just hope he doesn't do what he did in the beginning of this session and clip those apex curves in the start of the race.
I think that won't be the first time we see that. It's surprisingly easily done.
Yes, it is very easily done, as I'm very well aware. But yeah, again, crucial exit out of that last corner. He got a good exit there. Let's just see what happens when he crosses the line. It's not a best time that time around. It was a last lap on that one. Can't really see on my timer screen actually, but it was slower. So he's not gone any faster this time. But we'll see what he does as he goes through. Let's follow Handover for a lap, just see what he does in terms of the sector times going into sector 2. Best sector time at the moment, 26.6. As he goes through sector 1, it's much slower. 26.9. There we go. So 26.9 it was there for that one. So a couple of tenths slower. So it doesn't look like he's on a good lap on this one. So he's probably going to drop back, I'd say, and try and conserve those tyres.
It'll be interesting to see if he pits at the end of this lap. I mean, he's put in one very fast lap. He might be thinking, back in the pits, another set of tyres, go again. Probably got a bit of time to do that.
I suspect so, yeah, maybe. I mean, the time remaining apparently is 2 hours 29 minutes, which I can tell you now it is not 2 hours 29 minutes. It's a little bit less than that. These guys, I think, only have 10 minutes. But yeah, they've dived to the pit lane now. And Handover is in the pits, as well as Mangera there in the green A45, which has just now left the pit lane. He's going to obviously start another out lap. Go. There is one of the Astras. Who was that?
Daniel Hyde, that was.
Daniel Hyde, cool. He's currently running 11th position, 109.763. He's only pitted twice compared to some of the drivers who have got 3 pit stops under their belt in this qualifying session at the moment. But looking at Richards, he's on a purple Sector 1 and Sector 2 at the moment. So he looks like he's on it. Yeah, he is. He's got a purple Sector 2, 26.651. And he's in the final sector now. There is a little board at the bottom there. We'll try and get the car.
Here he is.
And he's crossed the line, 108.473. She's still not faster than what he did in practice. He did a 108.436. So he's just slightly slower, only just a fraction, but still the fastest driver out on circuit. 1/10 clear of Handover.
Yes, it's similar to what we saw in practice, a big gap between Richards, Handover and the rest. They were sort of half a second clear in practice, and we've got a similar sort of gap here. You've got Handover, who's just under 2/10 off Richards, and then Manley quite a way back, really, for him. But as we said earlier, he has got that full weight on the car, full 75 kilos of ballast.
Yeah, so it's really not going to help, really, is it? But got a replay here. Now, I did hear John Curry in the background there with quite a large yelp, but oh yeah, I can see there, just gets a rear wheel on that grass, and of course, because you're going so committed through that corner, it just got the back loose, and yeah, just run it wide there as well. So that's completely killed that lap, and he's probably going to have to pit for new tyres, which is, I believe, what he's going to be doing. So
Richards has pitted again for another new set. Here we've got Colin Talbot in the Cam Sport Fire car, currently down in 14th, so he needs to try and find a better lap somewhere. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him. So yeah, Colin will be looking to try and move up. He's pitted twice so far for new tyres.
best time so far, 109.886 for Talbot. Comparing that to his qualifying, he did a 110 dead in practice. So yeah, he has gone faster, but it just shows you how tight this grid is, how fast everyone's going, and how hard it is to try and get those last few tenths out of the car. And you can see there how much tyres he's scrubbing, just that smoke pouring off. So it just looks like he's going in a bit too quick to some of the corners and rushing it a bit, getting on that throttle too early. That looks like that's qualifying over. Car's back in the pit lane, and that is your order on the screen.
So pretty much what we kind of expected from practice. Matt Richards will be on pole position. Daniel Handover will be second, and then a bit of a gap back to Lewis Manley, the championship leader, who will start third. started for race 1 of the touring cars this afternoon on the Donington Park National Circuit. We've just finished qualifying and the drivers are about to set off on their warm-up lap. So Matt Richards will start from pole position with Daniel Handover on the front row alongside him. Lewis Manley, our championship leader, carrying that full ballast, will be 3rd. Will Richardson starts 4th. Ben Willis is going to be starting 5th. Ben Winter in the rear-wheel drive Subaru will be 6th. Sean King starts 7th. Francis Harold 8th. Ben Brown will be 9th. Ollie Davies starts 10th. John Curry down in 11th. Quite a bit out of position, I think, John Curry there. Chris Wilson will be 12th. Daniel Hyde 13th. Colin Talbot 14th. And Edson Manguera will start 15th at the back. So we'll see if he can make his way through. So the drivers coming around on the warm-up lap now. This 2-mile Donington Park National Circuit has produced some tremendously exciting racing this morning with the Clio Cup Championship. So we're really hoping for more of the same in these next 3 touring car races.
Well, yeah, that's the main thing. These touring cars are completely different to what we saw with the Clios, and most of the drivers who are racing in the Clios are out in this as well. So loads more power with the car, so you really have to be gentle on the throttle, because if you're too harsh with it, yeah, you are just going to kill your front tyres. And with these front-wheel drive cars, yeah, that is really easy to happen. The rear-wheel drives are so much better at looking after their tyres, purely because, well, the front wheels aren't doing anything but the steering, really. And, you know, in the front-wheel drive, yeah, they're accelerating, they're braking, and they're doing the steering. So, yeah, they've got everything to do. So
yeah,
it's crucial.
It's going to be interesting to see how those drivers who are out in the Clios this morning, whether it's a help or a hindrance, really, because they've had a lot of track time, but as you say, in a completely different car with a lot less power, and they've got to make that adjustment for these touring cars this afternoon. So we'll try and point out some of the drivers during the race who have done the Clios this morning, as they're all lining up now.
Getting into their grid slots, yeah, nicely done.
Matt Richards there just in the bottom corner of the screen. You can just about see him. He's in the black and red MG. He's our pole sitter, and Handover there in the Astra. It's a blue, pink and black Astra, very striking livery, 2nd with Lewis Manley 3rd. So we're just waiting for the lights.
So this should be a good one. Over to you.
And they're away, and it looks like a good start by the front runners. There looks like somebody in the middle. Richardson, I think, was a bit slow away. Down to Redgate for the first time. Richards is just defending the inside, and looks like he's got the lead as they come through. There's contact in the pack. That looks like one of the Pink Panther cars. Harold, I think, half spun round. Now they're heading off down the Craner curves, and side by side at the back there, that's Davies alongside Curry, I think.
I think it's Harold he's alongside with.
Manguera's on the grass coming down Craner curves. There's Ben Brown sitting in 9th place at the moment, so fairly clean. Bit of contact, but nothing too rough at this stage.
No, that looked like a good start. Main person I saw got off the line well was Winters. He had a really good start. He got off the line, but then suffered into the first corner, went to the outside and just got forced onto the grass. So he went backwards some positions, but actually off the line, it was a great start.
Good launch, rear-wheel drive Subaru. Probably gave him a bit of an advantage initially. Yeah, but then he seemed to lose it a bit and get pushed out as he went down Craner curves. Coming down to the chicane for the first time, we've got, that contact. Winter there ran into the back of Richardson. Got it in the braking zone of the chicane, but Richardson was okay, he's managed to carry on. Willis, I think, bit of contact there. So here we come. It looks like one of the Pink Panther racing cars is up the inside of the Subaru there at Redgate.
Yeah, it's Curry on Winter. Curry with a good move down the inside of Redgate, managing to get the job done as they go down Craners now for the 2nd time. They're currently looking at Richardson, I believe this is. He's just behind King and Willis, who are just ahead as they go through the old hairpin now.
Yeah, so Richards is in the lead, Handover's 2nd, Manley is 3rd, Willis running 4th. Sean King has had quite a good start. He's made a couple of places up. He's up into 5th. Richardson down to 6th as we continue on the 2nd lap of this first race of the afternoon.
So yeah, Richards, Handover and Manley still in the same positions that they started the race in, but Richards is absolutely checked out. He's miles ahead of this main pack, and you can see the gap there. There's Manley in 3rd. Handover is just in front of him, but Richards is already through the chicane. and he's borderline at the start-finish line now already, so that's how far away. There's Winter there with a massive jump on the curb, almost rolling the car.
Yeah, so Richards was more than 2 seconds quicker than Handover on the first lap from a standing start, so that's what he's built up, over a 2-second lead already.
It is, and I believe that was Curry again on the inside of Winter there. He's trying to get past. He has done successfully, still in front, and Curry's trying to get onto the back of Richardson now as they go through the old hairpin, and that's Winter again on Curry. Here's a replay of what have we got here. So this is, I think this is King.
Yeah, this is King and Willis.
Yeah.
Sean King's trying to go around the outside of Willis as they come up into Coppice, and that is a really nice move.
Yeah, really nicely handled. It's a very tricky place to overtake there, and you know, you can really lose the back end. Here's another replay. This is Winters on the curb, and here you go. So you can just see he hit the first apex a little bit too hard, gets on that curb, and then there you go, it lands and it bounces on that inside. It's so easy to do that, and you can lose so much momentum out that corner. So big shame for Winters there.
You really got to stay away from those high curbs at the chicane. Yeah, really unsettles the car. Here's Sean King, so he's up 3 places now into 4th, so he's had a great start to the race.
And now, yeah, he's got clear track ahead of him now. Look at that, until Manley. So hopefully we'll keep an eye on the lap times for you, see if King can try and gain any time on Manley, but it looks like he's going to be stuck. He's going to be stuck there because the guys in front of him are so much faster than him, but yeah, he's so much faster than the guys battling behind, so he's going to have a bit of a boring race, I feel. He
could be on his own for a bit, because look at the pack behind him. You've got Willis, Richardson, Curry, Winter, all absolutely together, and then a small gap back to Ben Brown and Francis Harold.
Yeah, so those guys behind giving us a very good scrap. It'd be good to see the action back there, but New Purple sector times coming in left, right and centre for your first place man Richards. He's flying through, but there's a lot of contact back here, Mark.
Ben Brown has got through on John Curry there into Coppice, and they're swarming around behind him. Curry, Harold and Hyde and Wilson all in there. So Winter there in the Subaru is sort of coming back. He's lost a place from the start, but he's trying to pull away from this little gaggle behind him. Ben Brown there. That's John Curry just behind him in the Pink Panther racing car. Here's a replay then of the start. So yeah, great start you can see there from the Subaru of Winter. He gets a great launch, but as you said, Anthony, he sort of
stuck to that outside line, didn't he? And then, yeah, of course, everyone powered into the inside. There was the contact for Curry, I think it was.
Brown and Harold.
No, it was Harold. Yeah, Brown and Harold. Yeah, you can just see there Brown with a very optimistic move down the inside, and yeah, I'm afraid that was probably definitely Ben Brown's fault on that one.
Bit of contact there between the two Pink Panther Racing teammates. Just a bit of a brush from Harold as he went past Curry at the old hairpin. So they're both struggling a little bit down in 9th and 10th. This race still just sort of shaking out in the early stages. So there's Curry, just been passed by his teammate Harold. Daniel Hyde behind. And then you've got Davies standing in for Will Dendy this round. And then Mangera and Colin Talbot is currently 15th.
Talbot not having a really good race on this one. He's, like I say, down in 15th position. Really not feeling comfortable with the car, I don't think. I can't even see him in shot. That's how far behind he is. So big shame from Colin Talbot.
Yeah, I think he must have had some sort of incident somewhere in these opening laps. But you're a bit of a train developing now in the mid-pack. The front three have pretty much gone. They've all maintained their position from the start. King is the big mover. He's up 3 places into 4th. And there is a move from Harold at the inside of Ben Brown at Redgate. Bit of contact, but he got through.
Yeah, very late lunge, and now here comes Curry down the outside of Craners. He'll have the inside coming into it. If he can hold the position, he does. Ben Brown gives it up. Does he try and stick alongside for the old hairpin? He tries to, but that almost ended in disaster. But managing to get past is Curry. He's got past Ben Brown.
Very close indeed there. Yeah, that could have been a big accident, but just the drivers just giving each other enough room. So Curry now onto the back of his teammate Harold as they're trying to fight their way up through the field. There's a bit of a gap in front of these two to Willis in the MG. Here's a replay of that. We've got this is Colin Talbot, so maybe this is what happened to Colin.
So coming up. Bit of underset. And then yeah, it's kind of what happened to John Curry. A couple of corners up from this part in qualifying. So easy to lose the back end if you get a rear wheel on the grass, especially with the front wheel drives. It's
Yeah.
The back just goes so light and it just darts off. You've no time to control. It's a big shame for Colin Talbot there.
Yeah, so he's down to the back, but he'll regroup and see if he can fight his way back up the field. Here we're looking at the two Pink Panther racing cars again, running line astern in 8th and 9th position. So the field just starting to spread out a little bit.
Only a small bit, though. They're all very close together. They're all roughly travelling at the same pace. Closest battle, I would say, is the two Pink Panther cars. And as we've already seen earlier on in this race, that they are not afraid to go for a lunge. And there's a lunge from Curry on Harold, forcing his teammate onto the grass. And that is going to allow Ben Brown to get a bit more action out of this. Curry gives the position back, thinking, yeah, that was a bit ambitious of me. But, yeah, these guys not afraid to go bumper to bumper with each other.
No, definitely not. That was quite aggressive by John Curry. Yeah, surprising, but I guess they're both sort of struggling down there, really. They're both probably a bit frustrated. They want to get further up the field. Well,
like you can see from the timing tower, Curry's already up 2 positions from his original qualifying of 11th place. And Harold is stuck where he is, really. So Curry is clearly faster now. He's got the hang of it. It's just maybe a bad qualifying session, as we saw. But yeah, Curry really is trying to get past his teammate Harold here, and he's not letting him by.
So in your picture-in-picture, we've got the on-board there with John Curry. So watching his teammate Francis Harold in front of him as they come down Craner curves into the old hairpin on lap 8.
Yeah, again, such a fast part of the circuit. Nowhere you can overtake. Now this is where Curry did it last time on his teammate Harold. It looks like he's lining him up again to do the same move. He's got that inside line. Can he hold the apex? Can he hold it on the track? He does. It's a good move. So he's managed to get past his teammate now of Harold. So it's Curry up into 8th place, and that's 3 positions now he's gained.
Lovely clean move there by Curry. Yeah, he set that up well before and executed it perfectly, really. I mean, I think Harold, as he should have done, gave him a bit of room, but it was a nice clean move. Here we've got Ben Winter all over the back of Richardson, and they have caught up to Sean King a little bit here. So Winter looks like he's found some pace, and he's really looking for a move on Richardson as they head down, flashing his lights, trying to put him off.
That's a bit cheeky into a braking zone of turn 1 from Winters, but there we go. They send it down the inside now from Winters, but has he gone a bit too fast into the corner? He has. That's allowed Richardson to come straight back at him as they go down into Craners.
Yeah, an ambitious move on the brakes. He brakes so late, Winter, there, but he just couldn't. It just compromised his exit so much that Richardson just drove underneath him. Down to the old hairpin now.
Oh, you see the smoke pouring out of King's front-wheel drive car there, and that is not ideal. He's completely killing his tyres, going way too quick into the corners. You really need to look after them here, and that has caused now Richardson to go around the outside. Winter is going to look down the inside, so they're almost 3 wide as they go into Coppice.
Richardson's going to go around the outside, possibly. He's on the curb.
Wide. Oh, you almost could have lost the back end there, and you see he had to back out, and he's lost another position from that. So now Winters is in the middle of this pack, and who is this? This is Willis behind as well. Willis is joining this, and then that has caused Curry and Harold to catch this pack up as well. So they've all Constantina'd up now, but there we go. It's Winters down the inside of King. Winter moving up into 4.
Yeah, Winter has got the job done on Sean King, who looks like he's struggling a bit already on lap 10. And this looks like he's trying to go through the middle.
No.
God! Richardson tried to go through the middle of 2 cars there. That was never going to happen.
That, I have to say, that was super ambitious from Richardson. Definitely wouldn't have been something I would have liked to have done, because that gap was closing, and of course he's going to probably say, well, there was a gap there, but it was a gap that was not going to be there long into a braking zone for turn 1. It was just not a good move.
Definitely a bad place to put your car, because when you're in the middle of a group of 3, the guy on the right doesn't see the guy on the left's there.
Yeah.
And the guy on the left doesn't look at the right. You're only looking at the guy in the middle. So
of course,
he got pinched.
those 2 drivers just in front, Willis and it wasn't Willis, sorry, it was King and Winters. They will have not have seen him there. There's a cracking aerial view, and you can just see, just tries to go down the inside. I mean, yes, there's a gap, but it's barely wide enough for this car, and he just puts his nose in between. It's such a silly move. He should have backed out of that completely. And look, the gap's closing there.
And at this point,
First
he's
makes
done.
contact with Winters, yeah, and then it was perfect. It was synchronized crashing. And of course, they probably thought that was Winters and King's fault. They were probably thinking that was one of their fault.
Yeah.
But it was actually Richardson who'd gone down. They wouldn't have even seen him there.
Yeah. I do feel that Winter and King will both not really know what happened there.
Yeah.
They'll probably be blaming each other and be, well, how did we end up there? Anyway, Richardson's regrouped slightly, and he's trying to pass Willis down Craner curves now.
So Richardson probably feeling sorry for himself, has just kind of backed out and maybe want to let these guys back. But John Curry and Harold there, major advantage from that collision.
Massive
Curry
result for them.
7 positions in 4th place is John Curry, and then Harold 3 positions gained in 5th place.
Yeah, that was brilliant for the Pink Panther racing cars. The dream scenario for them, really. They've got out this mid-pack, and now they're running 4th and 5th as a result of that contact between Richardson, Winter and King.
Yeah.
So there's Willis in the red and black MG just in front of Richardson. 6th and 7th positions. Willis defending into the chicane from Richardson, who's already proved that he's feeling quite feisty today.
There we go, taking quite a lot of curve on that first one. Now that's not too bad taking it on the first curve. It's the second curve that can really hinder you on this start-finish straight. So managing to get through. There's Winters down the inside of Richardson, and it looks like he's got that move done and dusted straight away. Ooh, forcing him out wide slightly though, and here comes Ben Brown.
Yeah, Winter really ran Richardson out road, and contact between Richardson and Talbot, I think, or was that King?
I think it
One
was
of the Camsport cars.
I think it was Richardson and King again getting contact down the hill into Craners. It's not ideal. We'll try and get a replay of what happened there, but yeah, it looked like car pushing one out wide again.
At first glance, it looked like Richardson moved across on King, but we'd have to see a replay to be sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really ruined both their races. They're dropping back down the field. I mean, King, who had such a brilliant start to this race, has sort of been a bit unfortunate, really, there.
Massive shame.
Here we go. Here's the replay. So that's King in the Camsport car coming out of Redgate. Richardson on the grass already. Comes across.
Oh, so, you know, King gave Richardson all the space in the world. He put it onto the complete opposite side of the track, but Richardson just pulled straight across on King. So that's Richardson again.
A bit of a scrappy race he's had.
Yeah, just not putting the effort in, I don't think.
Winter again up the inside at Redgate. He's passed Willis to take 6th place. That seems to be Ben Winter's favourite overtaking spot. Willis is on the grass, all over the grass. And that's going to cost him some momentum. Here comes Ben Brown.
Yeah, Ben Brown down the inside again, down Craners, but Willis has got the inside line for Old Hairpin, manages to keep that position, which is good racing.
So Winter now pulling away a little bit from Willis, defending hard. Here's a replay of, this is again the Richardson-King incident.
Look, he comes straight across. I mean, King just gave all the space in the world. You know, he didn't stop him from coming back on track. And
you can't apportion blame to King, though.
He just took advantage of that.
Yeah, so not the best race for Richardson so far.
Or King.
And King, yeah, very unlucky, really.
No, big shame. But we're still looking at Willis here and Brown. They're the closest 2 cars at the moment. Now, Willis has lost 2 positions from this. Qualified 5th, down in 7th at the moment. Brown, who qualified 9th, up into 8th. So Brown with the better of the results here. But seeing them go into that corner now, they're kind of closed up slightly. Here's another replay. Now,
so this is our leader. This is Richards.
Yeah, it is Richards.
Out front.
What has he done? Is he still in front? He is still in front.
Yeah, I think he was just running. He ran a bit wide, came out Redgate.
Okay.
That's the only mistake we could find.
Yeah, there you
So
go. He's
far.
been crystal clean other than that. But here we go. It's Willis and Brown. Brown again with a better exit out of the Old Hairpin. He's got the momentum up the hill. Now, are we going to see a dive down the inside here? No, we're not. Not this time. So you could just see he was lining him up there, though. He had such a good exit and just felt like backing out, and maybe not this time for a good time. I mean, we're 14 laps into a 20-lap race, and yeah, it's...
Tyre management will be starting to become an issue now. You'll start probably to see some drivers who've managed the tyres better have a better pace towards the end of the race, and conversely, other drivers who've maybe burnt the tyres off a bit too much could start to struggle. So, be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, the gap that you're looking at there in your smaller screen, that is the first and second place battle. Now, on the last lap, Richards did a 1:10.657. Handover did a 9:9.26. So there you go.
I think that
nearly 7 tenths faster.
That little mistake we saw from Richards probably cost him that bit of time on that lap. And Handover, is still there. He's not going away.
No, he's still very close. Here's Ben Brown, and and Willis there as they go through the old hairpin. But Winter seems to have, again, checked out. He's gone up the order. But he obviously qualified 6th, and now he is 6th. So, all in all, not a bad race, holding that position.
Ben Brown having another look at the inside of Willis into Coppit there. That seems to be one of the places that drivers feel they can pull off a passing move. He's a bit wide coming here out of McLean's onto the straight. Don't think he's going to be quite close enough, although will he have a lunge into the chicane?
Probably
not this time. No.
Not this time, no. It looked like he was a bit too far behind. But to say that, it looked like Willis had a bad run through the chicane there, and Ben Brown with a much better start. Willis has dived into the pit lane. Now, has he got a penalty? Did he receive a penalty for anything? But Willis is just darted into the pit lane there.
I can only think he would pit if he'd got some sort of penalty, but we haven't had any words from the stewards yet, so we'll keep an eye on that.
There he is. He's in his pit box, so...
Yeah. Looks like a stop-go penalty to me. Maybe.
It may be due to track limits, yeah.
Yeah, could be a cut track. I guess there's a few places, here. Old hairpin, chicane.
Old hairpin is the easiest one to get it at. You could run slightly wide there, and if it feels you've gained an advantage, it will have you dead to right there. So
yeah, something to watch out for, that exit of the old hairpin. So here we have Francis Harold running in 5th, just behind his teammate Curry. So they'll be quite pleased because from where they qualified, they've had a great race, actually. They've avoided all the carnage that's happened around them, and as a result, they've gained loads of places. So 4th for Curry, 5th for Harold.
Yeah, they were definitely gifted that, though, I would say. But that gap, 1st and 2nd, looks like it's closing.
Yeah, so maybe we can have a look at what's happening with the leaders. Richards, who's led this race from the absolute start. Handover, who's run 2nd from the start, and Manley in 3rd. I think the gap between Handover and Richards has been fairly steady.
Yeah, they've not really closed up on each other, really. I mean, it has closed up slightly, but yeah, these guys just on so consistent on pace. And I say, we've not heard much from Lewis Manley in this. He's kind of been on his own, and he's had a very, very quiet race in 3rd position. Hopefully that's not a commentator's curse there, and it stays like that. But yeah, lap 17 to 20.
Here he is.
Manley.
Here is Manley, carrying that full weight ballast, 75 kilos. He's had a quiet race so far. Qualified 3rd, is running 3rd, has been 3rd for the whole race, really. So lap 17 of 20. And on your picture-in-picture, we can see an onboard shot of Richards looking back at Handover. So that's the battle for the lead. You can see how close it is. Handover is still very much there.
And again, it's all going to be down to tyres, really, isn't it? I mean, Richards leading the race. He's got the 66 kilos, and Handover, I don't think he's got anything. I don't think he's got any weight on him. No,
I don't believe he has. So, Handover has the advantage, and we're going to be, I think, in for a bit of a grandstand finish on this one.
Well, I hope so. I mean, that gap's come down considerably. And again, purely because he's got no weight, he's probably managed to look after his tyres so much better. And this is going to have allowed him to catch up. And you can see there through those corners how that gap's just dissipated.
Yeah, absolutely. He's inching into the back of Richards' MG. So 2 laps to go after this. Coming down to the chicane. Big braking zone here. Mind those big tall curbs.
Okay, you can
he rides them a bit. One. Yeah, hits the first one, but avoid the second one. Get a good exit. And it does look to me like Handover is closing the gap very slowly. Can he catch in time?
Well, he was 2/10 faster than Richards on that last lap. They've got 2 laps to do it in. I think he's going to have him. He is lining him up for a position. You can see him pulling out of the slipstream just to say, hello, here I am, I'm here, I'm close to you. Expect to move anytime soon. And, this is going to be, after 19 laps of racing, yes, it'll be good. And you can see there Richardson really struggling with the tyres, running wide, really scrubbing it to try and get it round the corner. But, of course, that's just going to make the tyres even worse. So Richards really, really struggling with the front end of that car, and Handover with all the tyres in the world. It looks like he's got so much smoother driving line around these corners that he's going to go for a move at some point. He's got 1 lap to do it, so this is going to be the lap.
Yeah, he's getting ever closer to the back of the MG. He's pulling out the slipstream just to show himself in Richards' mirrors, just let him know he's there.
There we go. So it looked like Richards had a really bad exit out of that corner. So I reckon Handover is going to go for a move down the inside here. Now, is he going to try and pull a dummy? Is he going to move to the inside? There he does. Is he going to switch back to the outside, potentially go for the switch over? No, he doesn't. He holds that tighter line. So there you can see now that Handover with the much better tyres than Richardson.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Handover has got, at the moment, the faster car with the better tyres, or he's just played this race a bit better, and he is definitely all over the back of Richards as we come down through Schwant's curve. This is the last lap, so if Handover's going to do it, it's got to be now.
Well, I say it's probably going to be here, and there's the move down the inside. Great stuff. They're side by side. Pushes Richards slightly wide there. Richards not letting him have it yet, though. He has got the inside, has got a Handover.
Now, can Richards get a good exit, though? Can he draft out down this back straight before the chicane? It looks like Handover's, well, I don't know, it's going to be tight.
I mean, it's going to be an ambitious move from Richards if he tries to send it down the inside now. If he can get a good exit out of here, though, which I believe he may have done, it might be a drag to the line. They both run wide, but Handover with the worst exit, and it looks like Richards may have the momentum to get across the line. He can't. So it's a win for Handover from Richards, and Manley all on his own in third position. Coming there. What a race.
Brilliant drive by Handover. He timed that to perfection on the last lap into Coppice, and then started the move into Coppice, got the move done. Started the move at McLean's and then got the job done at Coppice, got a good exit, and yeah, he was just too far ahead of that break in the braking zone for the chicane and timed it absolutely perfectly. So great win for Handover. Richard second, Manley third. John Curry will be quite pleased, I think, with fourth after his grid position. Francis Harold fifth, Ben Winter sixth, Ben Brown seventh, Sean King eighth in the end after quite an eventful race. Colin Talbot made up 5 places and finished ninth. Ben Davies 10th, where he started. Chris Wilson 11th, Daniel Hyde 12th. We've got Richardson finishing 13th, Willis 14th and Mangera 15th. So a very exciting race, and we will try and get a word with our top 3 finishing drivers in a couple of minutes. Okay, so I've got our race winner, Daniel Handover, with me in the commentary booth. So yeah, Daniel, what a great race. You timed that to absolute perfection.
Yeah, well, gave it a go, and luckily it paid off. Yeah, I had a bit of a sort of a brain fart moment on the start. Decided to go incredibly wide, and obviously it didn't work with cold tyres. Allowed Manley through. yeah, luckily it all worked. It all worked in my favour in the end, and yeah, I think the added ballast that Lewis had, that Richards had, it wasn't really.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was beneficial, really. So I think I did have slightly less ballast,
Yeah.
which I think paid off in the end.
Yeah, it looked towards the end of the race, it just looked like your pace was better. The last few laps, you were definitely inching in. But a great move on the perfectly timed. I said in the commentary, if he's going to do it, it's got to be now. And as I said that, you went up the inside at Coppice.
It was not believable.
McLean, sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional. I thought I'd seen. In fact, there's a very wide line through that corner constantly. Very wide line constantly, and I didn't actually. I was taking my normal racing line.
Right.
And as it went wide, I was like, well, I didn't expect it, but okay, let's try. And to be fair, like I said, it was great racing. Like I said, we both gave each other enough room, and I said, luckily it paid off.
Yeah, well, yeah, great. Very exciting end to the race for us. So hopefully you'll continue that in race 2.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. So we'll get our second place driver in now, Matt Richards, who led almost some lights to flag. Yeah. So led the vast majority of that race. Just really that last lap move. It looked maybe like you were struggling with your tyres, perhaps a little bit more at the end there.
Yeah. I was trying to control the race for most of it. I thought I had a bit of a pace advantage over Dan. So I was trying to keep the gap about 2 seconds. And then there was one of the laps, I think 14, I braked a little bit too late into the chicane, caught the curbs wrong, and that dropped me about a second. And as soon as he was in that distance, it gave him the spirit to keep pushing on. The last lap, completely fair move. I didn't expect it at all. He was behind me. I thought I had enough of a gap, and I was really struggling in that corner particularly. So I was trying to get it turned in, and then as soon as I saw him dive, I knew he was next to me. I was like, I can't cover that.
Well, interestingly, Daniel said he wasn't really planning to make that move, but he felt like you left the door a bit open, or your line was different to his, I think, into that corner.
Yeah,
and he just saw an opportunity and went for it.
With the tyre issues that I was suffering, I was having to take a really wide line in to pinch it into the apex and take a bit of pressure out of the front left tyre. Unfortunately, it's not the quickest of lines. He was able to catch up to me. He was way better than me in the chicane towards the end of the race, and just good on him, just munching the time away, and stunning move, to be honest. Yeah,
so still a good result for you, second place. So do you think you'll be able to carry that sort of form on to the next 2 races?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do anything too brash. The championship's what's in mind, and I've gained a good couple of points over Lewis in that first race, so hopefully we can continue that through the rest of the day.
All right, well, best of luck for the next couple of races.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks. So our third place driver joining me now, Lewis Manley. So Lewis, third place there. Seemed like a quiet race for you. We didn't see much of you. You were just on your own really for most of it.
Yeah, I was going to say I had a very lonely race, apart from the beginning, but I had a really good start. So I got splitted Handover and Richard. So but obviously the weight is such a huge difference here, because when Handover got past me again at the Coppice, and I tried to switch back, but then down the straight, he was just gone. So that's why I couldn't pass him back. So therefore, third place. Obviously, top 2 were just too fast for me, so obviously now I can carry less weight for race 2, so hopefully I can do a bit better. Yeah, so I guess you were carrying the maximum ballast. Handover particularly had quite a lot lighter car than you, so yeah, I guess the plan is just to, when you've got as much weight as that on, I guess the plan is just to get as much points as you can really, and have a clean race and get the best result. Yeah, exactly, because obviously if I can obviously keep on the track, because I had 1 cut track warning, so obviously I could just take it easy and just keep the third place, because obviously top 2 were just too fast, and fourth place wasn't a problem for me, so I had a very quiet race, so hopefully I can keep up with the top 2, because they are very quick today. Yeah, so the cut track, we did see one driver I think got a stop-go penalty for cutting the track. Was that on the exit of the old hairpin? No, well, my cut track was at the last chicane, because I just went in a little bit too fast and just went a little bit wide, so I thought I'll just make sure, just take it easy from now on, so I can just make sure I don't get a penalty and just coast into third place. So that's how I start there again for race 2, and now I carry a little bit less weight, so hopefully I can try and match the top 2 and hopefully stay out of trouble. Yeah, okay, well, we're looking forward to race 2, and best of luck for that. Thank you. Cheers, Lewis.
So, welcome back. Here we are at the start, the warm-up lap for race 2, Donington Park National Circuit. So we will have a grid order, which is the finishing positions of the first race today. So Daniel Handover will start from pole position. There he is in the blue, pink and black Vauxhall Astra in second place. Matt Richards in the red and black MG. Lewis Manny will start third in his red and white MG. John Curry will be fourth in the Pink Panther Racing Astra. His teammate Francis Harold will start fifth. And then we've got Ben Brown in the green Vauxhall Astra. Ben Winter 7th. Sean King 8th. Colin Talbot 9th. Davies 10th. Chris Wilson 11th. Hyde 12th. Richardson 13th. Willis 14th. And Mangera will start 15th. So we're looking for another exciting end to this race. We had a race, a bit of a slow burner the first one, but fantastic move by Handover on the last lap.
Like I say, it definitely got going, didn't it? And of course, now that we see Handover, he'll have the weight now, won't he? So he's got the 75 kilos. Now, will that mean he's going to struggle with his tyres this time? And are we just going to see a reverse as what we saw last time? You know, we're going to see Richards come back and overtake Handover on the last lap. You know, you just don't know. When he's got a bit more of an advantage now, and of course, all these cars, front-wheel drive, bar the Subaru of Winters. And he's down there in, I think, 6th position.
Yeah, so you can see the red and white Subaru there on the right-hand side of the grid. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of launch he gets. He got a great launch initially in the first race.
Let's see.
So we're waiting. We've got the green flag. We're going to wait for the lights. And they're away, and it's a fantastic start by Manley. He almost moved before everyone else. I'm not sure whether it was a jump.
It could have been a jump start. He was the only one that moved. Either it was well-timed or it was a jump. But we'll have to see if he comes into the pits. And Handover with a mistake straight out the basket, straight off the track. And that's promoted Manley straight up into first place. What a start.
Yeah, so Manley, I mean, he actually ran the back of Handover on the grid. So they'll have to look at that, the stewards, I think. But at the moment, we've got Manley, Handover, then Richards, then the two Pink Panther Racing cars as they come out of the old hairpin through Schwantz Curve for the first time.
Yeah, so really close stuff from them. But these guys all going through now. But is Manley, as he got in front, it looks like he's already about to lose position. No, he's not. He stayed in front. But yeah, what a start from these guys. But yeah, the question mark is, has Manley got a penalty?
Yeah, was that a jump start? Will it be playing on his mind? Sometimes, as a driver, Manley himself might not know, but it might be playing on his mind. Have I jumped the start? Or maybe it was just that Handover got such a bad start.
Well, either that, the entire grid got a bad start, because the only car I saw move was Manley. So
it did look that way, yeah.
It did look like a potential jump start, but we'll have to see as the race goes on. Is he just going to dive into the pit lane at one point to serve the penalty? Doesn't come in this time, and a message would come up straight away on your screen saying you have got a jump start.
So maybe it was just an absolutely perfect start.
Yeah, Handover goes defensive there. He's got...
Richards is having a look. He's trying to get a better exit from Redgate as they head down Craner curves. So Handover defending furiously. Bit of contact between him and Richards. Richards is now dropped back in behind just to follow him through the old hairpin. Two Pink Panther Racing cars are there as well.
Obviously, those guys will be thrilled with being up here for that, with a cracking race start. But again, Richards looking to the inside here, but he's going to be on the outside for McLean's there. So Handover still with the optimised position, and Richards round the outside. Is he going to make the move done? I think he is. I think he's managed to get it all round the outside. He has.
Great move.
Richards, great move, has got it up into second place really early on, and here comes Curry on Handover.
Yeah, brilliant move there by Richards around the outside of those two corners, McLean's and Coppice, and then now we've got Curry's alongside. He's having a look at Handover into the chicane.
Not close enough this time.
Took a lot of curb.
Yeah, I'd say took a lot of curb there, did Curry, and now he's lost a position to his teammate, Harold.
Yeah, they're side by side now as they come down the start-finish straight into Redgate. And it looks like it could be Harold, I think, has got up the inside into Redgate.
He has, yes. That's Harold in front of Curry now. So, those two have swapped positions now. Apologies for the lack of timing screen. But we don't have a timing tower at the moment. So big shame for that. But yeah, there's a little timing tower that we were managing to get there for you, but you can't really see it now. So yeah, we'll try to do our best to tell you who is where. But still leading the way is Manley. Richards in second position. Handover.
Contact in the back there.
There is contact in the back. I'm not sure who that is. Who is that?
That looked like Davies, I think, standing in for Will Dendy. That was the yellow MG that was off the road. Down there with possibly Chris Wilson involved. So yeah, we've got Handover there. He seems to be struggling a bit with the weight on the car this race. He's just in front of Harold with Curry, then Talbot, Ben Brown, and Sean King. So here we go. Look, this is Harold, who's actually all over the back of Handover, who's really struggling with extra weight on his car this race, I think. Yeah,
of course, it can really play havoc with your car. And that's Harold going around the outside. Here's a replay of what happened.
So this is the Cam Sport ice car of, I think, Wilson. And
I think that's Talbot.
What seemed to happen there was Davies' MG seemed to just go across the front of Wilson there. And we've got two cars off here. Handover is off, and so is Harold. And Talbot is coming through. So Handover's lost 2 or 3, 4 places.
Yeah, that's not ideal. And of course, they rejoined the circuit in such a risky place. There were cars coming up the hill, and that almost caused another collision with Talbot as well. So Talbot almost getting collected, and that had been a disaster for his race.
Yeah, that was a very dodgy moment. There was a lot of shouting here in the centre. You could hear from various drivers trying to understand what's going on. But we've also got at the front, Richards has caught Manley, and he's all over the back of him as he heads down to the chicane.
So we've got a replay here. Now this, I believe, is the move. So this is Harold and Handover. Harold with the inside line. Harold with the outside line, I should say. Handover on the inside as they go down into Craners. Now the contact there isn't much. So it just looks like Harold just trying to come in. Harold looks like he was washed out wide there and forced out. Now it's a tricky one to call, and there's some more shouting in the background, and of course that's due to another incident, I believe. But what would you say on that one?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Harold just slid a bit wide, really. He ran wide and just made contact with Handover, and at that part of the track, a little bit of contact, you both will be off the circuit. Here is Sean King is up the inside of Harold now, and there's Handover. So we could have another battle here. More contact between Harold and Sean King.
Harold really struggling to see anything in his mirrors. I think he keeps turning in on people, and it feels like he's enough ahead that he can turn in and go for the apex, but there's still a car there, and he's causing contact with quite a few people. I mean, quite a lot of shouting from the actual venue itself, so some of the drivers not happy. So we'll have to see what race control calls for any of these incidents.
It's getting a bit heated for sure.
It is.
And this group of Astras all battling away here, so all identical cars, different liveries of course, and different weights on some of them. Handover particularly struggling at the moment with the weight. So we've got Richards is still leading. Manley is so Richards has taken the lead from Manley somewhere. We probably missed it when we were looking at those replays, but at the moment we've got Richards in the lead from Manley, then Curry is third, Ben Brown has got up into fourth, and Colin Talbot is fifth. And then you've got this little group we're watching, so Harold, King and Handover.
Yeah, so plenty of action all the way around there, and of course that we know that Handover here is quick. You know, he was quick, he won the last race, and you know, he's a quick driver, and he's got all this traffic in front of him now that he knows he can get past. It's just trying to get past it. Of course, now this is field position, it's not lapping anyone, that they can fight for this, and you know, it's making his life really difficult, and that's the gap from first to where we are now. And I say Ben Brown, Colin Talbot, absolutely flying on this one, moving up quite a few positions, taking advantage.
Yeah, we've got a real train, really. First to eighth is still fairly close together. You can get them all in that back straight together. And Handover at the back of this group in 8th place. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to recover his position. There we got to see Sean King having a little bit of a look up the inside of Harold into Redgate, just showing himself in these mirrors.
And of course he's held a tighter line there, so now Handover is going to have a better run down the hill through Craners. And let's see what he's going to do. And of course this area here is not ideal for overtaking, as King goes wide out of Craners, compromises his line through Old Hairpin, and as you can see now, and that is Handover with a much better line, and his manages to get the power, and he's alongside. Is he going to go for a move down the inside into Copper? He thinks about it, but slots back. Of course, he's a bit cautious now as what he's seen further up the field.
Yeah, Sean King did well. He just left enough space, but at the same time was fairly. He took his own line and maintained his own speed through the corner. So good driving from Sean King. Handover's not going to find this easy, I don't think, to get through.
I can see some action further back. You've got Winters there and Willis. They're side by side going into the chicane. I'd be curious to see who comes out on top for that one. I'm probably going to be Winters.
They've gone through side by looks of it. Yeah, it looks like Winter has got the better of that, and he's in 9th place. So there you can see on the top left of the screen we've got some positions back and some gaps for each car to the leader on lap 8 of this 20-lap race.
So, So
Handover's got past Sean King there at Redgate. So he's got the move done.
That's nicely done. Next on his list is Talbot, the other Cam Sport car. And, of course, that's the Cam Sport Fire car that's just in front of Harold there. So Handover's got a couple of things to do. Now, when Handover gets to Harold, we'll have to see what happens here, because they're a bit heated between those two in this race.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where it wasn't much contact, but it was just where it was on the track. Down the Craner curves, that little bit of contact is really going to unsettle the car. But yeah, I think Handover will feel like he wants to take his revenge and get back in front of Harold, who's right behind Colin Talbot at the moment.
Well, hopefully he keeps a cool head and manages to get through. But like I say, Curry up into 3rd place. He's having a cracking race. Manley holding on to 2nd, so one more position gained than what he did in the last race. Now, Handover here is all over the back of these two, flashing the headlights as they go across the start-finish line. You can tell that Handover's not happy with what happened earlier on in the race. And again, who would be? So Harold again going around the outside of Talbot. Talbot holding his line. And again, a lot of side-by-side contact now. If I was Handover, I'd be backing right out of this, because I know that it's going to go wrong again. Harold and Talbot again, side-to-side combat, pushing each other onto the grass, managing, though, to keep it on the track.
Unbelievable defending by Colin Talbot there. He was refusing to let Harold through. Door banging all the way down Craner curves. Fantastic.
Yeah, I know that Talbot's a very good defensive driver. Again, Talbot going very defensive on that inside line. Harold running wide. Talbot pushing Harold off the track. And Handover coming down here inside, trying to get that position. These guys are so close.
Handover's got an overlap. I think he's got underneath Harold, possibly, as they come down the straight here. But Harold is in the slipstream of Talbot, so...
Yeah, they've managed to pull ahead. Now Harold's pulled out. He dives down the inside into the chicane, and they've made contact again. Talbot wanting to turn in. Here comes King now onto the back of Handover, and these guys are all going to concertina up, and Winters has joined the battle as well in the rear-wheel drive Subaru.
Yeah, so we've got now 5th to 9th all pretty much together. It's all forming into a huge group, and there Talbot's having a look up the inside. He's made contact with the back of Harold.
That's a very ambitious late lunge.
Sean King is out in the gravel.
Again, not sure what happened to Sean King there. Again, probably a little bit of contact. And look at the Subaru of Winter. He's managed to gain 3 positions there.
Yeah, Winter now up into 7th place.
What an execution there from Winters. He's managed to get past several cars in just one corner, which is absolutely epic to see. There's Willis on the inside of Handover. Handover really struggling here. His tyres are probably gone after so many spins and scrubbing of the tyres that he's really struggling to keep the momentum. And as you can see,
it seems to be 1 step forward, 2 steps back for Handover in this race all the way through. So here we've got Handover and then Sean King on the left there, trying to go on the outside, of Winter on the Subaru goes for the inside.
Oh, that's a very late lunge. I'd be amazed if he's managed to hold that to the apex. He has, though. Bit of contact forces, but like I say that was a good move. That was...
It was a very... it was a real opportunistic move, but he got it done. He got to the apex, and here we are, Winter and Talbot side by side into Redgate. Winter on the inside. Contact between the two.
Contact, and they both go off into the wall hard. Now that, I'm afraid, I'm going to have to put down to Talbot with what I saw there. It just looked like he turned in on Winters. Now, I'll have to see a replay, but with what I've just seen there, I feel that was Talbot's fault, but the replay will clear everything. I want to be 100% sure before I start to point anything. But as we go for a replay, no, here it is. So we've got an onboard shot now. So
contact all the way down the straight, really. They're just door banging.
They were holding on to each other, weren't they? Now they are clear. Oh, it's definitely Talbot who moves across. That shot there was pretty conclusive. You can see that Talbot moved across.
It did look like he, whether he was trying to defend, whether he was turning in early, I'm not quite sure, but he clearly moved and Winter didn't. So here is Willis, who's now running 6th with Handover 7th, just behind him. So it's all kicking off in the midfield in this race. Out front, Richards continues to lead by 2.5 seconds from Lewis Manley, with John Curry 3rd, Ben Brown 4th. Harold is sort of 5th, slightly clear of this little battle here, where we've got Willis and Handover battling over 6th place.
Yeah, so real tough battles, but you could see an incident like that happening at some point. You know, they were so close, and you could tell the red mist had descended. These guys with incidents all over.
It was getting heated in that midfield. Handover he's on the grass, and he's lost the back of the car, and he's hit the wall. He's recovering, but this race for Handover has been chaotic, I think.
It's definitely not been good. Handover now down in 12th position, 20 seconds down from your race leader, Richards. Richards and Manley having a really quiet race. Here's a replay.
Here's Handover coming down the crane of curves. He's taking the grass there, and he just drops a wheel onto the grass here. Back of the car steps out, and then he's straight to the scene of the accident on the tyre wall on the right-hand side there.
Yeah, it's a carbon copy of what we've seen many drivers do. We saw it happen to Talbot in race 1. Saw it happen to Curry a corner ahead in qualifying. It's a very common mistake that happens. Here is your 2nd place, Lewis Manley, 3.1 seconds down the road from your 1st place, Richards, who we are on lap 13 of 20 at the moment. But still plenty of action in that midfield, as you can see there on your side screen. And we're going to have more carnage. Handover on the inside of, not sure who they, Hyde, I believe it is, yeah. So Handover on Hyde as they go through the old hairpin. Wilson just in front of this. And this is for about 11th position where we're looking for the battle now. So, still plenty of action right down the field.
Yeah, so battling right down here at the back of the field. We've got Handover, who now finds himself in 12th place. Again, trying to recover just behind Hyde. Chris Wilson and Davies there running 9th. So Handover's race has just been one of clawing his way up a few places, and then something goes wrong, drops back again. Claws his way up, but overall he's been on a downward trajectory really from the start.
It has. It's been such a shame, and of course he's gone from one race where he's had, potentially no lead, because he's had a completely empty car because he wasn't here at round 1, I don't believe. And, he's gone from having no lead to 75 kilos, max lead. And, of course, that's just played havoc with him.
This is the difference it makes to the car. It can feel completely different and make things a bit more challenging. So this is Sean King, who's running 7th, just in front of Richardson, who himself has had quite an eventful race. He had quite an eventful race 1.
He did indeed.
But Sean King running 7th, and behind Richardson with Davies in the yellow MG is having a look. He's trying to go around the outside at McLean's. Don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah.
And just behind them is Chris Wilson in the other Cam Sport Ice car.
Yeah, so obviously Ollie Davies, the reserve driver for Will Dendy, who is usually supposed to be out there. And of course, Will Dendy 3rd in the championship at the moment. 37 points he's got at the moment. Of course, we've already had race 1. As you can see there, Davies struggling 9th place at the moment.
Yep, so lap 15. Richards continues to lead from Manley. Curry's 3rd. Ben Brown is 4th. That's quite a good position for him. He'll be pleased with that, I think, so far. Harold 5th. Willis 6th. And then Sean King here that we're watching with he's 7th with Richardson just behind him, swarming all over the back of him at the moment. Here's a replay of King and Richardson coming down trainers. Nope. False alarm, I think, there. Oh, a Handover is nearly spun on the chicane. He's at the curb again.
I think that was a replay from quite a while ago. There was a car in the air there. But, it looked like it was a bit of an ambitious move for Winters and Handover again. Just struggling to keep it on the track.
Yep, so Sean King here still defending from Richardson as they come up through McLean's on lap 15. Then you got Davies, then you got Chris Wilson just behind, and in the background, Hyde sort of swerving all over the road trying to defend
you can
from
see
Winter.
it. further back there that they were side by side. And again, a lot of action still further back. But here is more further up the field. This is Harold again. And this is Willis as well. So Willis and Harold in the smaller screen. They're going through the final chicane now. And then, yeah, so we've got King, Richardson and Davis. And then Wilson as well there. So this group of 4 cars as they cross the line now. We're on lap 16 of 20. And these guys still concertinaing up. And looked like King there was a bit struggling to keep it on the track. He understeered quite a bit. Now Richardson's got a much better run down the craners into Old Hairpin. Again, we won't see a move here. Well, hopefully we don't see a move here. If he does, it would be very ambitious, as we've seen in the earlier parts. But that battle in that smaller screen as well, definitely heating up. And it's Wilson and Harold still very side by side.
Yeah, so drivers probably now really starting to struggle with the tyres if they've not looked after them well during the earlier stages of the race. And Sean King, though, managing to hang on. He seems to be quicker than Richardson in some parts of the track, and Richardson's quicker in others. So the gap is yo-yoing around a little bit. But Sean King at the moment is defending that 7th place. Up in front, you've got Willis and Harold are side by side going down the straight into the chicane. Willis has got the inside, and he's got the move done.
Nice move from Willis, and then, of course, further behind, Richardson and Davis. They were side by side as well. Davis struggling to get past, though. And there's Richardson looking down the inside of King into turn 1. Is he going to throw him a dummy? He is indeed. So he's backed out of it as they've gone through. And it looked like the retired car of Talbot there that you saw at the exit of turn 1. But Richardson down the... Yeah, he's got the inside line here, but he's on the outside for Craners now. And there you go, torturing those tyres is Sean King, and now they're concertinaing up.
Yeah, so it looks to me like Richardson's quicker for the first part of the lap than King, but King seems to be a little bit quick on the second part of the lap. Here's a replay of Harold and Willis. So Willis, this is how he got past, I think. Up the inside into Coppice. He's alongside. He's got the line.
Yeah,
he's holding it tight.
Nice move there, just holding the position, and then of course he takes it on the chicane, doesn't he? So, yeah, nice setup there for the chicane.
Yeah, simple outbraking move into here. Brakes a little bit later than Harold. Nicely done, neat and tidy. Sean King, meanwhile, is still in front of Richardson. Richardson's really quick through the chicane, though, and this is where he seems to have the advantage. Richardson, the chicane, red gate, turn 1. He seems to be a little bit faster than King at the moment.
Yeah, these guys still flying through. In terms of sector times, yeah, it looks like King is slightly faster in the latter part. Richardson much faster in the first part, but we'll see them come down Craners now. Davis just kind of sticking to the back of these. He's not going for anything, is he? He's trying to just see what happens. And
he's just watching and waiting, I think. Just maybe thinking if these two get a bit punchy, whether he could take advantage.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just waiting for that perfect opportunity to just sneak by both of them as they probably push themselves wide. Richardson again holding a much tighter apex there through Coppice, and maybe going to give Davies a potential move to here.
Davies has got a good run yet. He just needs a good exit out of here, maybe, to try and draft alongside the Astra down the back straight.
Let's see what they do. So he's got the slipstream now. We're on board with him. Moves to the inside. So does Richardson to defend. Now Davis holds that in outside. Richardson holds the inside line as they go through. Now this is going to compromise his exit out of the chicane.
I think Davis might have him here, possibly.
No, it looks like Richardson managed to hold enough speed there. So impressive line that he's managed to hold there. So Davis struggled to hold the power up on that straight.
Yeah, so this is great news for Sean King, who would be quite happy that Davies is attacking Richardson so hard behind him, because it will hopefully give him a chance just to open a small gap. He's got about sort of a 4 or 5 car length gap. So that's good news for Sean King in his bid to hold on to this 7th place on lap 19.
Yeah, so coming on to the final lap shortly. Yellow's in sector 1 at the moment. There we go. We've got our official timing screen back. So we are on our second to last lap. And there's it's that Wilson on Davis. Wilson down the inside into Coppice here. Yep. And it looks like Davis manages to hold it. Wilson backs out. Or he backs out. He doesn't. He's still there. And there he is. He's managed to get in front.
Yeah.
Davis dropping another position.
You can just see on the small screen in the corner, you just see that Wilson has got past and has taken that 9th place away from Davies as they go through the chicane. Sean King continues to open up a gap now over Richardson. So this is excellent news for him as they start their last lap. Up front, Richards continues to lead from Manley. Curry is 3rd. So Sean King there, looking like if he can keep it neat and tidy, he's going to maintain that 7th place. Here's a replay of Wilson overtaking Davies. So got an overlap, managed to get that inside line into Coppice. Took the inside, nice and tidy, held a tight line, got a good drive out, and not really anything that Davies could do about that.
No, it was a good move from Wilson. Yeah, just manages to position the car in such a perfect spot. But we're probably going to be finishing the race soon.
Davies is attacking. He's attacking back now on this final lap. He's got it on the inside of Wilson. He's going to do that. He's going to return the favour.
It's nicely done. Checker flag's gone out to Richard, so Richard wins the race.
Richards has crossed the line. We're going to stay with this battle, I think, just to see who wins out of this group. It looks like Sean King's got 7th in the bag, but Richardson and Davies are side by side. And Wilson also wants a look, and Winter's come from absolutely nowhere.
Winter's completely missing the braking zone, goes straight on, and there's carnage behind. Davies straight off into the wall. I'm not sure what happened there, but I think most of the drivers were distracted by that Subaru, completely missing the braking zone, and then completely missed the braking zone themselves.
I'm pretty sure that Winter won't be allowed to keep that position because he just came out of nowhere and went straight across the grass.
Yeah, no,
ignored the chicane and just carried on.
I don't think he'll be allowed that. But I'll be curious to see a replay of what actually happened further back.
I think you're right that Winter sort of coming across like a torpedo distracted everybody, and then there was contact between Davies and Richardson. Here we go.
So this is a kind of a helicopter view. So we've slowed it down now. Winter's completely missed the braking zone, manages to avoid everyone and completely straight lines it. And of course, those two, I think, had a bit of contact further behind. So massive shame for Davies there, who was trying to take advantage. But yeah,
I mean,
play out well.
Chaotic end to the race there at the final chicane. Everyone getting a little bit desperate, which sometimes happens. So we're going to take a brief break, and then we will try and get some interviews with our top 3 drivers from that race. Okay, so we're going to have a chat now with our top 3 drivers from that race 2. So I think we've got here Matt Richards is joining us, race winner, race 2. So, yep, finally got your race win.
Oh, yeah.
And so Lewis Manley had a tremendous start and got in the lead, and then you were just able to sort of catch up and passed him sort of fairly early stage of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it was me being slow off the lights, but I felt like I'd let the clutch off and the car just didn't pick up, which is quite weird. I saw Lewis get the cracker at the start, so I was like, wow, okay, what am I going to do here? Is this how it's going to go? Managed to get a good line in turn 1. Had a little bit of a scary moment with Dan down the hill, but we saved it. I made sure to back out. I thought with the track how it was, maybe that's the grip just didn't allow it. Managed to make my way past Dan. I really wanted to get past him just because I knew that it was going to be important to chase Lewis down.
Yeah.
And yeah, just chase Lewis down. I knew I had the pace on him, and I could see he was driving a bit over defensive, going a bit too tight into some of the corners. And I think the previous lap to where the overtake was, I saw a little bit of a chance that he was taking a really defensive line into the chicane, which was really hurting his exit. So I thought if I can force him to the inside, then I might be able to get a switch back, and it worked. So
Great.
and then just controlling the race from there, controlling tyres.
Yeah, great. So, I mean, race 3, reverse grid race. Completely change of scene, really. You don't know where you're going to be yet on the grid. What's your sort of tactic for approaching the reverse grid race?
Not spin myself like I did last round. So just be a bit more careful in lap 1, try and get through that first lap, and then figure out how to pick people off. I think with the weight, 66 kilos in that race, I had fastest lap and pulled away a little bit. So hopefully I've got the pace and just got to try and make the moves and get through.
Yeah, you seem to be handling the weight really well. So, yeah, we'll look out for you in race 3. Best of luck for that one.
Cheers.
Thank you. So we'll get Lewis Manley will come and join us. So, Lewis, you made an unbelievable start. We all thought you jumped the start, but it turns out you just absolutely got it perfect. And then you led for the first few laps, but ultimately only able to finish second. So tell us about it.
Yeah, my start I thought was absolutely brilliant. I didn't actually mean to press the first gear, but I thought I was going to jump it because I didn't think the lights would go out that quickly, but I acted perfectly. So I tried to squeeze through Handover and Richards, but there was no way through, so I had to obviously stay beyond Richard. But he went a little deep again at turn 1 as he did in race 1. So as I got the lead, I was a little bit pulling away, and then Richards was closing. But then when I went to defensive line, I hit the chicane last corner, the sausage curl a little bit too hard, so I hit it twice. It almost made me go, so that's why I'd lost momentum, and that's why he got through. And I tried to give him a bit of a headlight distraction, so therefore he didn't have any pressure on him, so he was able to pull away. But much slippier track that race because there didn't seem to be much rubber, so that's why at times we were a bit slow in that one on race 1.
Yes, it was. A lot of the drivers have said that they felt like the track had got slippery. So, be interested to see what happens to race 3, the reverse grid. We decide where you're going to start. So, do you have any different tactics, the way you approach the reverse grid race compared to the other races?
Well, to be honest, the way Matt Richards is going, he seems to be unbeatable in the mix because he's so quick. Because he has got a lot of touring car experience. So that's why I don't want to let him beat me again, because the way he's going, he can beat anybody today. So he's very quick. So that's why I can even match him in qualifying. And race 1, he was just gone because obviously my weight. And then race 2, I was able to keep up. And then the tyre severe was a little bit worse than race 1, so that's why I had to be circumspect. So I just wanted to make sure I get home to second place and just consolidate my points.
I suppose, race 3 is perhaps an opportunity to get some more points over Matt Richards, depending on how you both work your way through the pack. I guess it's one of those where you just have to make the best of the situation you're in and hope it works out for you.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm going to start one place ahead of him this time, and I'm not sure if I'm still going to be finishing ahead of him, because even though he's going to carry the maximum weight now for the first time, I'll carry his weight of 66, so depends how many get reversed. Hopefully I can beat him this time, but to be honest, he can just beat anyone. If I go too hard defensive, I might make a mistake, so I've just got to make it perfect and just try and keep him behind me.
Okay, well, good luck for the next one, Lewis.
Thank
Hope
you.
you speak later. Cheers. So we're going to be joined by John Curry, who finished in 3rd place in race 2 today. So John, much better result than the first race in touring cars today.
Well, qualifying was a bit of a disaster because I just could not string a lap together and ended at P11. And I really felt I should have been somewhere in the top 6. And first half of the race was a bit messy in race 1, but then luckily the sort of pack thinned out and I was able to pick up a few people and get up to P4.
Yes, there was a lot of chaos in race 1 that allowed you to sort of get through a few places just by staying out of trouble, really.
Precisely, and
so
me and Francis sort of worked together, I think, to sort of pick people off, which worked quite well. And going into race 2, Lewis made the perfect start, and he had nowhere to go with it, really. I mean, I was convinced I was almost thinking, surely I was a jump start.
We all thought he jumped the start because it was so much better than anyone else's on the grid, but it turns out he just absolutely nailed it. He did it perfectly, although he did actually say he pulled the gear paddle before he meant to, and he was just lucky that it was exactly as the lights went out. So
Completely felt luck. So yeah, the first few laps, I had Francis right behind me, and there was a point where I made a bit of a mess of the chicane, and he got a run, and I just thought, well, I'll let him go, and we can just follow each other along and sort of see if we can pick them off. And he made a good move on handover, but I could see going down the Craners that if you're on the inside into the left part of the Craner, really, it's your corner, and if you hang on the outside, it's only ever going to result in both cars flying off the road.
Sure, yeah.
And yeah, I sort of saw that happen, and I had a sort of split-second decision to make whether to sort of look and see where they were going to end up, or just sort of try to go around the corner as quickly as I could. And as it was, I sort of went through the old hairpin, was half expecting to be, clobbered. And then suddenly I saw Francis appear in my mirror right behind me, so it was a little bit tight. And then after that, I was running, I had about a second gap to Ben, and I knew from a 5 laps into the race, so it was going to be marginal on tyres. It's one of the first races I've done when running in a strong position with quite a lot of weight on the car. And I knew that it was going to be from 4 or 5 laps in, I knew that looking at the percentages, it was going to be tight. So I was trying to just sort of not really worry about the first two and just try to consolidate third. But I also knew that with Ben behind me, I know he's very good on his tyres compared to me. And I knew in the closing laps it was going to be incredibly close. And lo and behold, with 2 laps to go, Ben had a good run on me. And, fortunately, when we tangled at McLean's, I'd already pushed hard through the old hairpin and got my second track limit strike. So that meant I had to be really careful recovering, because I know at McLean's, there's another, if you just gun it around a runoff, you end up getting pinged again. So I had to, I think luckily there was a little bit of a gap back to 5th that Ben was able to just let me go, and we ended up having a good old battle on the last lap, and I was just able to hang on.
Great result, good to get you on the podium for the first time today. So best of luck for race 3.
Cheers,
and with a bit of luck, we'll speak to you again then.
Hope so. Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cheers, John.
Okay, so Mark, just gonna do pod draw.
Yeah, so we're going to do the pod draw, the grid draw for the reverse grid race now.
So we've got, come on through.
We've got a special guest, I think, to do the grid draw for us. This is Tom Jacobs from the Next Gen Mod team, and he's going to have the honour of drawing out the grid position for race 3.
There we go. I've turned up my mic finally. So welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
First time at Simply Race, really.
Yes, yeah.
How have you found the championship?
It's been interesting to watch, because obviously I've done quite a few sim racing leagues where they use these cars before, and it's not as clean as it has been today. Obviously, people are going to make mistakes. It's touring car racing. People want to kind of get up the grid. But it's been generally clean, especially in the opening lap. That's when you expect to see all the crashes and the incidents. But it's been clean through turn 1 all the way down to the end of the first lap. And that's what surprised me here today.
I think we've got a good grid of drivers who show each other quite a lot of respect and quite a lot of room on the circuit. They've raced together quite a lot, and they've developed that sort of respect for each other. So, and it's makes for some really good racing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so for people that don't know, Tom is the guy who built these cars.
Yes.
You enjoy seeing them race around?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, because I haven't seen, I don't physically get to see the people driving the cars and see them going around the track. So yeah, that was sort of like a weird feeling, especially in qualifying when they all pitted in to change tyres. That was also a weird feeling to see all the cars coming into the pits. It's like, this is, sort of mimicking, real life, where they cross over the tyres and stuff like that. So that was enjoyable to see.
It must be very satisfying to see sort of the fruits of your work being raced at this sort of level in such a competitive environment. And it must give you a lot of satisfaction, I guess.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the sort of feeling and the response we've got from the cars being released and how people are enjoying them has just been overwhelming. Obviously, people are saying that the cars are really good, but that doesn't really help me develop as an artist. I need people to tell me what's wrong with the cars and all that, but I mean, people have really enjoyed them, and I hope that I can update them, make them better, and
certainly they've been very popular, very successful so far, and they've produced some great racing, and we're really looking forward to using them for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So I think we have a very high-tech, sophisticated method of drawing the grid here.
Let's just draw.
So
one.
we would like you just to pick a number out there, and that will be the poll that will decide what position from the race goes on to pole position for race 3.
Number 10.
Ooh, that's a good one. We've got that's ideal. Well done, Tom. Yep.
That's weird because that used to be my driver number in sim racing as well.
So we've got a real nice mega reverse grid. So 10th place, which will be Ben Winter, will start on pole position for race 3.
I believe that's a Subaru as well. That's the first car I made. This is weird.
Subaru, the rear-wheel drive Subaru will start on pole. So yeah, that is going to be brilliant and make race 3 really exciting. So we will be bringing that to you very shortly. Stay with us. Okay, so welcome back. Sorry for the slight delay there. We had a technical issue in the centre with one of the pods, but we're all back up and running now, and the drivers have just got in for the reverse grid race 3 of the day in the Touring Car Championship from Donington Park. We did the draw earlier, and very nicely we drew number 10 to be starting on pole position. So that will be Ben Winter in the Subaru, who will start from pole. Alongside him will be Chris Wilson. So we should get a really exciting race in this final one because so much of the grid is reversed.
Well, it's played into Ben Winter's hand, definitely. Purely the Subaru, the rear-wheel drive, the only rear-wheel drive car, it's probably the easiest to get off the line fast. And, of course, now he's got nothing in front of him. So, yeah, he's looking for, if he can hold the front, yeah, he's looking for a race win here.
Yeah, it could be. And I think there'll be lots of people behind. I mean, we'll have some of the real fast guys will be right down in the middle of the pack. 9th, 10th places for Manley and Richards. So it's going to be fascinating to see how well they can come through the field. Can they do it cleanly? Is there going to be carnage? Race 3, generally, there is a bit of carnage. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be really exciting. So drivers just warming up now, and we should be ready to go in a couple of minutes' time.
Yes, they are just on their formation lap, I believe. Making their way round. Of course, we're going straight into the final race. And, of course, race 3 is always the interesting one, isn't it? With the reverse grid, you know, you've got a complete twist of drivers.
Yeah, the gloves come off in this race a little bit. The jumbled up grid really makes for some exciting racing. And I'm sure we're going to see lots of overtaking and lots of incidents during this next 20-lap race. So here we are. We have the drivers just completing their warm-up lap and lining up on the grid. So Ben Winter there in the red and white Subaru, starting from pole position.
Looks like, is that King next to him, I believe?
It's Chris Wilson.
Chris Wilson. It looks like he's not really pulled up to his grid slot, has it? It looks like Winters has got quite a big advantage there. Yeah, he could go for a bit further forward than that. So Wilson, and they're away, lights out. And as you predicted, a great start by the Subaru. Ben Winter, he's going to get into red gate first. Wilson is having a little look up the inside. Manley holding it tight, and there's one of the Harold there with a very ambitious move down the inside. He almost took to the grass to try and get down the inside there. Yeah, and he made contact, and as a result, he knocked Willis, and Manley has spun in the middle of the pack. Manley off in the background, not sure what happened there. Hopefully we get a replay just to see. But again, it just looked like too many cars into one, all going for the same part of the track. Yeah, and it's just played havoc with the field. That's left Manley dead last in 15th. Just coming out the old hairpin now. So we've got Winter holding the lead from Chris Wilson. Richardson is 3rd, Ben Brown 4th. Matt Richards has had a good start. He's up into 5th. Hyde is 6th, Curry 7th. And then we're looking at Curry here defending. Oh, and Talbot, contact between him and Talbot. Talbot has hung on to it, but he's lost a lot of places. And just behind him now, there is Handover. Yeah, so here's a replay again of what happened at the start. So there's carnage all over the place. Cars going off left, right and centre. I'm trying to see where Manley is. He's right there in the middle, and it looks like he was collected by John Curry. So a bit of contact there, and we come across. But then it's just, one of the cars coming across. Hyde, I think that Manley was. Yeah, Hyde. Yeah. Manley got beaten up there big time. I mean, he must have been hit 3, 4, 5 times. Again, it's so tricky with the reverse start. You've got so many quick drivers in the middle pack. You know, they're all trying to get to the front, so it concertina's up much closer than it would do when the faster driver's at the front. And, of course, you get something like that. There's Davis on Harold here, and Davis managing to get past, so moving up into 9th position. And he's Handover having a go on Harold. Yeah, now we saw what happened in race 2 with these two, and there's Colin Talbot in the background as well. And that's always a spell for disaster with these three next to each other, because race 2 was pretty much carnage, wasn't it? They were bouncing off each other quite well in race 2. Certainly Harold and Handover had a real battle. So their battle is going to be rejoined there. Ben Davies at the head of this group in the yellow MG. A little bit of gap up the road to Sean King. And he's just behind John Curry and Daniel Hyde, who's up there in 6th place at the moment. And here we go, Harold having a look at the chicane. Contact, maybe. He's hit the curb. Davies has gone over. Davis has gone over onto his roof, and he's managed to almost collect some of the other drivers. Now, was there a slight bit of contact from Harold there that caused that? It just looked like Harold, where just had his nose maybe 1 inch alongside the car.
There might have been the merest amount of contact. We probably need a replay to know for certain, but
just unsettles Davis's car, which puts him onto that curb.
Yeah, and once you get on those big curbs, that's what can happen. Roll the car over, and he's now down in 14th place.
Yeah, big shame for Davis there. Obviously,
here's the replay.
Oh yeah, you could see that. Yeah, that slight bit of contact just rotates the rear of the car, and it forces Davis onto the curb. And I'm going to say that's going to have to be a penalty for Harold, I feel, with contact.
Yeah, it was hard on Davies, that one. Here is handover all over the back of Harold. Already looking to see if he can find his way past. Out onto the back straight. He's very, very close. He might have a look into the chicane.
Yeah,
he's going to try and outbrake him.
No, he thinks against it, backs out of it, brakes a lot earlier than Harold. So, yeah, thinks against it. Now, hopefully he's not going to try and go for a move like he did last time down Craners. Here's another replay of the Davies incident. So he's already hit that curb. It looks like he got it recovered there and was going to bring it back down. Hits that curb, but then it goes over the other way. And then the curb just helps him over, kind of digs in. And, yeah, massive shame for Davis. Cracking little ride, though. And all the other cars scattering to avoid him as well.
Yeah, you can see Lewis Manley recovering there through the chicane in the background. Probably trying to pick which way he's going to go here.
Yeah.
To avoid the rolling MG.
Yeah, have to take to the grass there. So big shame for Davis.
So Winter still in the lead out front from Wilson, and Richards now up into 3rd place. So Matt Richards making his way through the field very well indeed. Here's handover, still swarming all over the back of Harold, but can't get through as yet.
Yeah, and of course the action unfolding a little further up as well. You got Richardson there, and then you've got Curry, Hyde, and I think is that Wilson or King?
That is King. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean King.
So yeah, this is all getting a bit. They're all concertinaing up together, and Hyde has pitted. I guess he's got a cut track penalty somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's going to be for the collision at the start of the race.
Yeah, it could be actually. He was heavily involved with that collision with Lewis Manley.
That's a handover down the inside of Harold. It's a good move, nice and clean. So that's another one ticked off his list. So next on his list is Sean King.
Yeah, good, tidy, clean move by hand over that. He needs really to have a much cleaner race than he's in race 2, where he was sort of a bit all over the place, really, and had multiple incidents. It'd be interesting to see now if he can regroup and make his way through this tight midfield pack.
Because the car's probably feeling a lot better. He won't have any weight on the car, will he? He won't have any weight penalties.
Yeah, so he should be in a much better position than he was in race 2, where he was carrying a lot of success ballast.
Yeah. So, yeah, and as you can see from how he's driving now, yeah, it just looks like he's got much better momentum, much smoother. And yeah, he's just fighting his way through the pack, as say, up into 8th position. Richards in 3rd still.
In the corner of the screen there, you can see that Lewis Manley has made his way up into 10th place already. He's just in front of Colin Talbot and Ben Willis. So Manley is starting the comeback. It's going to be a long way back for him, but on lap 6, he's up to 10th. Here is John Curry at the head of this group, and Sean King's trying to defend from handover, who's trying the outside line at Redgate. He's got alongside.
And this is what we've seen before, and here comes Harold again. So these three, obviously they give each other room, and there's Harold taken to the inside there, onto the grass. I'm not sure where he was going there, but and that's Curry who's running wide. And it looks like, again, that handover's got a bit of a better exit, but then that's given Harold the inside line round this corner, but then he's going to be on the outside for McLean's as we go into the braking zone. There's handover down the inside of McLean's on Sean King. Bit of side-to-side contact, makes the move done, though. He's got the inside line into Coppice now, into the braking zone. Handover's got it.
Yeah, great drive by Handover there. He needs to really get past King because he got Harold swinging over the back of him, and I think Handover's just trying to get away from Harold, really, as much as he can. But yeah, executed a good move there. And now Harold is trying to also get past Sean King into the braking zone of the chicane. He outbrakes him. Nicely done. Clean.
Yeah, nicely done. Yeah, nice and clean. So, yeah, Harold also moving up. King losing 2 positions there, down into 9th place for Sean King.
And there's Manley in the background. Look, you can see the red and white MG is closing in on Sean King now.
Yeah.
So
good recovery from Manley so far. Obviously, really shaky start, and of course, starting in 9th position, it was a very tricky place to be, especially at the start. So
yeah, you really did get attacked multiple times at the start, Louis. So you won't be happy about that at all.
No, not at all. So yeah, real shame. But of course, good recovery drive, and he's fighting his way back through the field. Winter still leading the way. He's clear by nearly 3 seconds. 2.9 seconds at the moment is Winter clear from Wilson, and then Richards 3 seconds down the road. So the battle for second is actually quite close. So
yeah, you can see in the corner of the screen, bottom right hand corner, we've got the battle there for that's Chris Wilson fending off Matt Richards at the moment. So it's getting pretty close. Richards is definitely looking threatening.
Yeah, so 2 very close battles all the way around, but all the meantime, this is allowing Ben Winters to just disappear down the road, which is really playing into his hands. I was talking to him afterwards, and he was like, yeah, that's all I need to do. I just need to keep my head down and, yeah, get a good start.
Here comes Richards up the inside of Wilson.
There he goes, good move down the inside. Has he suffered his exit, though?
Wilson's got back underneath.
Yeah, Wilson's got back on the inside down Craners, and it looks like he's got it back. So, yeah, there's good defensive driving from Wilson there. Yeah,
great effort to, we know how fast Matt Richards is, so that was an excellent sort of a repass that he pulled on Richards there. It's not going to be as easy as Richards might have thought to get past Chris Wilson here. And while all this is happening, yeah, Ben Winter is getting away in the lead. So Manley is caught king, pretty much. So, yeah, battle's going on up and down the field here.
Again, it looks like Richards is trying to make the move for second place. He's all over the back of Wilson still, but like we saw in that last lap, he did go for a move down the inside of turn 1, but Wilson came back. Are we going to see a carbon copy again this time around, or are we going to see a move potentially and the inside into the final corner? No, not this time, but again, you can see how much faster he is through that chicane, so much smoother. And again, look at the exit that he's got, and he's going to go straight down the inside again for turn 1, I believe.
Yeah, so this is really important that Manley, as well in the main picture, can try and make his way through, because he's giving away a lot of points, championship points, to Richards at the moment, and those two being the sort of class of the field in the championship so far. So we've got both battles having big effect on the championship here. Can Richards pass Wilson, and can Manley, who has now overtaken Sean King and is up to 9th, how far up the field can Manley get?
Did look like King let Manley have the position there. I saw a flash of the headlights just be like, and he moved out the way, and it looked like he just gave the position up there. So
interesting tactic perhaps from Sean King. Maybe he knows ultimately that Manley is quicker.
Oh yeah, and there's no point wasting time trying to battle with him. You know, let's just get behind him and let's try and follow him. You know, it's a good tactic to try and go into the back. Right now, here is handover on Curry. Let's see how easy he can do this. It's a tough battle though. Curry really good at defensive, but can make mistakes here and there that we have seen in qualifying and in this race as well, where we've seen him run wide. Handover just pulling out of the slipstream there, trying to look for a move, just showing again Curry that he is there, and you're probably going to see a move down into the first corner.
Yeah, Handover just moving around in the mirrors of John Curry there, flashing his lights down the straight, just to see if he can put him off or maybe force him into a mistake. And he's up the inside. Handover outbreaks Curry into Redgate. Beautiful clean move, no problem. And in the corner of your screen, you've got Richards, who's still battling away hard, trying to get past Chris Wilson. And Richardson's actually caught that little group. So Handover moves up to 6th. And Richards, still stuck behind Chris Wilson at the moment.
Yeah, Wilson really good at defensive driving there. He's positioning the car beautifully just to keep Richards just behind him. And is opening that gap up, though, for Winter. Winter taking full advantage of this. He's got a 5-second gap now from the second place group.
Yep, so, Winter now 5.5 seconds up the road. So, well, lap 10. He could be looking at a potential victory here. In the main screen here, we've got Colin Talbot, Ben Davies and Ben Willis all battling over 11th place. And Davies having a little bit of a look, just moving out, trying to see if he can find a way past Talbot into the chicane. Taking a lot of curb.
Yeah, there's a lot of curb and extra there. But, he struggled there, and now he's got Willis coming down the outside, who's slotted back into position. Now, again, on the smaller screen, you've got Richards down the inside again, looking at Wilson. Wilson's got the better line, though. but now Richards has got the inside line into the old hairpin. He's managed to keep it alongside, and finally Richards has got past Wilson in probably the trickiest part of the circuit, but now Richardson is all over the back of these guys as well.
Yeah, so a great move by Richards there, and it cost Chris Wilson a little bit of momentum, and that's allowed Richardson to get onto the back of him. So yeah, great racing at the front. Richards now into second place, 6 seconds behind Winter, so he's going to go chasing after Winter, I think. 9 laps to go. Be interesting to see whether he can make up a 6-second gap, more than 6 seconds now. And here we have Willis up the inside of Davies into Coppice.
Yeah, good move. So that's signed, sealed and done, isn't it? So good stuff there from Willis, managing to get front of that yellow MG of Davies. But back at the front, 6 seconds is the lead Winter has got from Richards now in second position. But of course, Wilson, Richardson, and then Handover is trying to catch up to the back of these guys as well. He's managed to get in front of Brown and Curry. And again, he did have Harold, but Harold's dropped down. So, yeah, some interesting developments in the midfield as well.
Something's gone on there, yeah. Handover is done quite well. He's got up into 5th position now. Here we're looking at Lewis Manley, so he's still 9th. So he hasn't been able to make much more progress in the last few laps. He's behind Francis Harold there. But he's still got a bit of catching up to do. Here's Ben Brown in the green and black Astra with John Curry just behind him. And then Francis Harold, then Lewis Manley.
Yeah, so Manley really struggling with the pace now, so he's kind of hit a brick wall of how fast he can go. He's trying to get past these, but there's Ben Brown going defensive, Curry behind, getting back onto the racing line into the final chicane, both taking quite a bit of that first apex curb with a good exit though. There's Harold running slightly wide as well. But are we going to see a potential move down the inside into turn 1 from Curry? He's quite far back. It'd be an ambitious move if he was going to do it, but he is going for it, and he makes it done. Good move there from John Curry.
He might run wide, though, and I think Ben Brown's got back underneath him because Curry, it was a great outbraking move, but he just carried that little bit too much apex speed, and as a result, just ran a bit wide, and Ben Brown was wise to it, and just drove back underneath him.
Yeah, it's good defensive driving again from Ben Brown, holding that 6th place position. Still 12 seconds down, though, from your race here to Winter. And that gap between Winter and Richards for first place, still 5.5 seconds. So Winter's got quite a commanding lead here.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a good enough pace that Richards is not just going to reel him in dead easy. And he might not have enough time if he can do it. Wilson's still 3rd, Richardson 4th, and Handover 5th. Then you've got this group we're watching, Ben Brown, John Curry and Francis Harold, all sort of closing up together with Lewis Manley lurking in the background there, currently still 9th.
Yeah, still plenty of action from these guys, and of course Curry all over the back, but this is causing the concertina effect again. They're all catching up, they're all piling into the back of each other now as we go back across the line. We're on lap 14 now of 20, 6 to go. Again, large dive down the inside of Redgate from John Curry. It was a bit ambitious, and Harold takes both positions, and here comes Manley down the inside of Ben Brown as well. He's caught up now behind Curry, can't go any further, and big shame for Manley. Tried to take as much advantage there as he could, but Curry just blocking the track there, and he could only get one position off Ben Brown, but that was a very late lunge there from John Curry that time.
Yeah, it's a really late lunge, and he took so much, he took such a late entry and carried so much speed. He opened the door, and Manley has got past Curry there as well. So Curry really sort of did him and Ben Brown no favours at all there with that move at Redgate. It just cost them both places.
Yeah, I say Manley, good move there. Managed to squeeze it down the inside of McLean's there, managing to get it back onto the back straight now. Instantly goes defensive into the chicane, and now is that going to, of course, allow that Sean King in the background to get alongside Ben Brown as well. Sean King down the inside of that chicane manages to get it done. Ben Brown tries to come back at him around the outside and gets forced off the track. So, yeah, good stuff from Manley.
Interesting tactics there from Manley in that he just went defensive immediately to sort of say to Curry, there is no way you're going to try and outbrake me into the chicane. I'm not going to let that happen.
Well, of course, that also throws him off trying to get the slipstream as well, because, of course, on the back straight, if he'd stayed there, Curry would have had a slipstream and potential move down the inside. So, yeah, it was a good tactic there from Manley, and it's managed to give him that position still. Manley up into 6th position.
Yeah, great bit of driving there. Curry now 7th. Ben Brown 8th. Sean King is 9th. So Manley now going after Harold. You can just see up ahead of him in the other Pink Panther racing car. Here's Curry trying to chase down Manley. He's sort of using all the road and a lot more coming out of McLean's. And then in the background you can see that Sean King is having a little look at Ben Brown. Back down now onto the back straight. At the front, Winter's still got 5.5 seconds, 5 to 5.5 second lead over Richards. So Richards is sort of gaining, but it's quite slow going, and we're already on lap 16.
Yeah, it's a closest battle out there. It's probably going to be the King and Brown battle that's just behind this car. They are neck and neck as they go through the chicane onto the start-finish straight. Now, they were side by side as they went into the chicane, and I believe King has managed to finally get back in front of Brown, but Brown has been constantly badgering King to try and get back past. Yeah, Brown is definitely pushing pretty hard here. Sean King very much in defensive mode at the moment. Lap 16, 4 laps to go. Drivers will be beginning to worry about the tyres, worry that they've taken too much out of them in the race so far. So this is where we start to see some interesting differences between the pace of the drivers based on their tyre management throughout the rest of the race. Just behind this little group you've got Colin Talbot, Willis and Davies all battling away in the background there. And Manley, so up to 6th. He's not far behind Harold now. He's probably going to... He'll hope he can do better than 6th, really. There we can see him just going out shot now in between the two Pink Panther racing cars. Here comes Sean King into the chicane. A little bit wide. He sort of missed the first apex a bit there. That could have given Brown the chance down the start-finish straight to get a run on him into Redgate. Yeah, so King really suffered the exit there and doesn't go defensive, but here comes Ben Brown straight down the inside under braking, holding that tighter line. King gives plenty of room, which is good to see, but manages to hold on to that. So Ben Brown just a bit too cautious there going into the corner and just suffers and just holds in behind, but still really close racing from these two. Yeah, Sean King definitely gave Ben Brown a lot of room, but a lot of respect between these two drivers. Good to see. Oh, and there's King's a mistake, though, from King. Yeah, Mark, he's just run wide there. Just clocked on that bit of grass, but luckily keeps it on the track. We've seen 2 drivers go off there, and they've gone straight off into the wall, but very well held by King. Yeah, he did well. He could have been a big accident. In the background, you've got, it looks like Davies has got past Hyde for 12th, just behind Colin Talbot. Yeah, they're having a close little battle there. So yeah, Talbot, Willett and Davis, they're very close back there, all 3 of them. They're having a good little scrap. It's also close between Harold and Manley. King's missed that first apex again at the chicane. He seems to be doing that regularly. Yeah, he's just, I think, braking a little bit too late and scrubbing the speed, so his tyres won't be thanking him for that. There's the battle further behind and the smaller screen that you've got in the corner. But yeah, really close now between Harold and Manley, 5th position. Only a 10th between them now. There they are, going down the hill. So are we going to potentially see a move from Manley now as they go through the old hairpin? Yeah, Manley is definitely sizing up Harold to try and get that 5th place. We're on lap 18, so he hasn't got that long to do it. But it'll be fascinating to see how Manley goes about this, because we know Harold is a pretty determined competitor. He's not going to give Lewis this. Oh, I know, exactly. So both drivers really competitive. And I would say Manley's probably the more competitive, which doesn't play into Harold's hands. So Harold's going to have to be really defensive here. And as you can see, yeah, he's already gone off the racing line. He's in the middle of the track, actually. And it goes defensive. Manley goes to the outside. Now, if Manley sticks on the racing line, he's going to have the better line here. So Harold's gone defensive, but that's compromised his exit. And is that going to give Manley the run into turn 1? Yeah, it looks like Harold is already... He's trying to go defensive already. He knows he's going to... Doesn't want to leave the door open. He's opened the door, though, and Manley's going to walk straight through it. Oh, he almost thinks about doing it, though. He just backs off, though. So Manley looking for that gap. And then the battle further behind. We're almost 3 wide into turn 1. There's Talbot and Willis, I believe it's. Yep. And they are side by side as they go down Crane, as they're just in the back of this shot, as well as in the smallest side of your screen. But then here comes Davis as well behind, but Talbot still leading the group of 3. These guys absolutely neck and neck. And then here's Manley as well. Manley right on the back of Harold now. He's going to get a good move down the inside here. Now, are we going to see a lunge down the inside into Copper's corner? It looks like he's lining Harold up. Down the inside onto braking. No, again, thinks against it. Holds that inside. But now he's got a good run here. They're side by side, and looks like that's Manley's got it into the hairpin.
Yeah, great move. He was just sort of... He's overwhelmed Harold there with just pressure. And eventually Harold had no opportunity, no chance but to just open the door and here Manley into the chicane. He's got the outbraking manoeuvre done. He's got that 5th place. Can he get a good exit just to make sure of it? I'm pretty sure you'll see Manley go very defensive here into Redgate just to make sure that... Look at him staying absolutely full on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he's not giving Harold any space there for movement round the inside, is he? And it's forced him out wide, and there he goes. He's even run wide, and that's going to compromise him from his teammate John Curry there. That's Curry down the inside, so Harold losing 2 positions there.
Another great example by Manley of really decisive defensive positioning of your car.
Yeah.
He doesn't tend to position his car by halves. He goes... He's adamant where he's going to put the car.
He is indeed. It's close between Richard and Handover as well. We are on the final lap, so your race leader is going to be crossing the line any moment now, I would believe.
Yeah.
Richards and Handover for 2nd place, though. There's only a few tenths between them as they're going on to, believe, probably the back straight now into the final chicane. But as they all go through, but still close battles all the way throughout. And everyone goes through. Wilson's just going into the final chicane now. So I think checker flag.
Yeah, so Ben Winter has crossed the line now. Ben Winter has won it in the Subaru. From Matt Richards finishing 2nd, Handover 3rd. Wilson is 4th, and here comes Lewis Manley 5th. So he salvaged something from that terrible start to that race, but he's still given a few championship points away. 6th place is Curry, 7th Harold. And Sean King, just beating Ben Brown over the line there. A very close finish. Colin Talbot finishes 10th. Davies 11th. Willis 12th. Hyde 13th after his penalty for that start incident. Richardson 14th and Mangera 15th. So a typically eventful race 3. Richards really made a good job of that, considering where you started so far down the grid to finish 2nd. Manley was really beaten up badly at the start, but came through quite well to get 5th. But Winter, from that positioning, from that pole position in that Subaru, got a great start, never made any mistakes, cleared off.
Yeah, of course, and that's what we had a good word with them there. There's your head on the stream.
Welcome to the booth.
I'm just out of shot. I didn't know Mike was going to do that, so I've managed to break away. There's my hand. Hello. I've just positioned myself beautifully. But yeah, no, cracking race. Bit eventful at the start.
Yeah.
Manley suffering the most, I feel.
Yes,
and
definitely.
but a great recovery drive from him and getting up those positions. So yeah, really good.
So we're going to try and I think we might try and go over with the top 3 drivers if we have time before the podium presentation. So stay with us. So we've got we're going to have the top 3 drivers from that race 3 join us in the commentary box. So first of all, we have our winner from that race, Ben Winter, with us. So Ben, I'll give you a microphone. Well done. We did speculate at the start of the race that starting from pole in the Subaru could be a good thing with a good start, and that's exactly what happened. You got a great start, and then you really seem to be able to control it quite easily from the front.
Just getting off the line, a bit nervous. So I didn't want to jump the lights a bit. So nice smooth getaway. Turn 1, just stay out of trouble, and then just first lap, I just had to just make sure my brakes were warm, my tyres were warm, and then just build the gap. I think I was running the least amount of ballast as well in like
Yeah, so that was a bit of a
Nod your
help.
head like that. It was fairly straightforward. Getting a bit nerve-wracking at the end, watching Richards closing the gap. Hats off to him, though, because if I made a mistake, he'd punish me.
Yeah, once Richards had got through the pack in second place, we were you'd already got, I think, a 6-second lead by then, and we were sort of saying in the commentary box that that's probably going to be enough. And as it was, he was catching you, but it was nowhere near enough to overhaul that sort of deficit. So I guess it was just out in front on your own and just make no mistakes and bring it home.
Yeah, well, I'm the only rear-wheel drive car on the grid, so tyre wear was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I didn't really need to worry about that. So if I just saw he closed the gap a bit more, I'd just push a bit more. I think on the penultimate lap, I went green in sector 1. So I thought, let's not bin it now. So I just started taking it easy towards the end.
Okay,
and started getting sweatier, but
Good. Well, brilliant performance, and nice to get your first win of the season, and maybe use it as a springboard for the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, it's been today I've had really good fun. I think I qualified 6th or 7th, and I did some, a few mistakes. Quite good recovery drives as well from the back of the grid. I think I did that twice. Yeah. So just win at the end. It's just a nice way to round it off. Yeah. So it's been really good fun. So thanks very much to everyone at Simply Race as well.
That's it. No, that's what it's all about.
I loved it today. Yeah, really good.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
So we'll get our second place driver, Matt Richards. Of course, heavily involved in this championship battle. We've spoken to him a couple of times already today. So, Matt, a pretty good race, I think, for you from where you started, down in 9th, to come through to second place. You've got to be fairly satisfied with that?
Yeah, that was tough. I thought I had the pace in the car, but the weight against the people in front of you that have got less weight makes it slightly a bit more difficult.
Yep.
Battle I had with Wilson, absolutely great fun. That was amazing. How we made it down Craners, I have no idea.
He definitely wasn't going to let you have that second place, was he?
I was trying everything in the book, every single dive, switch, whatever. Just about got through, and then I was pushing to catch that Subaru, but those tyres, it just...
Yeah, I think by the time you had passed Wilson and got into second place, you were about 6 seconds behind
I think
Ben Winter. So we said in commentary, difficult to
I got
overhaul.
down slightly, but just not enough. And I don't think the tyres were ever going to be there enough to catch him. I mean, fair play to him, a really good stint and really, really well raced.
Yeah, well, good for your championship, really. I mean, Lewis had a really tough race there. He got really heavily beaten up at the start, and he came back to 5th in the end.
Yeah. I saw him coming through, and I was getting a bit worried because his pace seemed to be really good, but I think I'd got enough of a gap by then. I didn't need to worry so much. Have we got an updated standings? Or
we will have shortly after the event, I believe, once we've got our calculators out and worked out the standings. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to probably put you in a very either right at the top of the championship or
hopefully
or second. You're going to be right up there, and I think this is a battle that's going to go on all season.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the gap is between me and Lewis, it's going to be tight, whatever. Next round's a track that suits me well again.
Thruxton,
so hopefully we can get some good results there. 2 weeks' time, nice short break as well.
All right.
So yeah.
Good. Well, we look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
So we've got Daniel Handover now will come and join us again, who finished 3rd in that race. So a real sort of roller coaster of a day for you, Daniel. Brilliant first race. Great pass at the end to take the win. Race 2 was chaotic. You were all over the place. But race 3, pretty good, really, I suppose.
Yeah, I think I couldn't have asked for much more, really. Another lap would have been nice, but you know, it's just one of those things. But it was nice having no ballast, actually. And obviously, you notice the difference.
So you had no ballast. Where did you start on the grid?
14th.
You were 14th, so yeah, to come through to 3rd, impressive.
Yes.
Very impressive drive.
Thank you.
And it is this thing that the ballast seems to change. The ballast seems to change the handling balance of the car a lot.
Dramatically. I think race 2, caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Going from, I think I had 23 or 20-something kilos of ballast, and then going to almost 75.
Yeah.
For me, I couldn't get used to it, and obviously it just went from bad to worse.
Yeah, I can well remember the first time I drove a touring car with the ballast on, and I had the same experience, really. I just couldn't get my head around how the car handled with that weight on. It's really quite a difference. But yeah, overall a good day, I suppose. You won the first race. You've got a podium here. overall, good progress.
Yeah, no, I think obviously from Brands, had obviously a similar thing in race 1 where I got a couple of stop and goes. But yeah, I think we're definitely moving in the right direction. I'm happy that obviously we managed to get a win and a podium as well all in the same day. So,
what do you think of Thruxton, which is our next round?
I do like Thruxton.
Yep. Everybody likes Thruxton. Anybody doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's just a great track. No, I'm looking forward to it, actually. Again, hopefully we can again move a bit further forward and have a bit more consistency. I think is definitely the thing I need to focus on now.
Yep, definitely.
But now I've had some time actually in the car with maximum ballast. I'm not saying I'm going to get it again, obviously, anytime soon, but I've had a bit more experience now, a bit more time in the car.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you at Thruxton.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Right, so I think, having spoken to our top 3 drivers, we're now going to go across to the podium celebration shortly, where top 3 drivers of the day will be handed their trophies. So... So we've had a tremendous day's racing here in the Touring Car Championship from Donington Park. Some really exciting battles, some controversy, a few incidents, but overall some really good, clean racing between everybody. Quite impressive how much room and respect the drivers are giving to each other most of the time. So after a very competitive event, we have totaled up the points, and we can announce that the top 3 drivers as follows. So third place, Daniel Handover with 37 points. So Daniel actually tied with John Curry on 37 points, but being as Daniel actually won a race, that's why we've given him the third place. So hard luck, John. Close. You nearly got on the podium. And in second place overall, very consistent results again today, as usual, Lewis Manley. And our driver of the day, amassing a total of 49 points over the 3 races. Again, really fast and consistent throughout all the races, and a particularly good drive in the final reverse grid race to finish second. Our winner today is Matt Richards. So congratulations to all 3 of our top 3 drivers, and we look forward to seeing you all again at the next round at Thruxton.